What, what do you think about owning property in the metaverse? How do you feel about that?
Owning properties in the metaverse. So the problem is it's not the metaverse, it's a metaverse. There's
True.
way too many metaverses. Like if it was like, one big one, like Ready Player One, we all love Ready Player One. If it was at that level, then it would have like actual, I would say, RL implementations. It would be, they could be, I believe in NFTs, I believe into like owning of properties with as data or as like real world assets. The problem right now that I have would be more about the fact that there's too many metaverse projects that don't work together. Maybe in the future, I would see like there's a number of possibilities. The two biggest probabilities for me would be either you would have a few or even just one metaverse really taking the lion's shares of the market that everybody uses, or they would somehow at one point try to figure out how to connect all metaverses.
Who do you think can win that battle? Or how do you win that battle? How do you become the metaverse?
You could merge. First of all, as I said, you could, by merging metaverses, you could become the biggest metaverse. But otherwise really about adoption, practicality, and utilities. Why, for me, again, I'm go back to Ready Player One, why I think it would, if that level of technology was achievable, that would really work 100%. Why? Wide range of applications, very easy to go in, very enjoyable, have practical utilities. You could go skiing, take vacations, do battles, maybe do some work also. Like I always see, we all read some stories, etc. about going to sleep. You could play video games or something. But what I think a lot of people don't think about that is if you could do that, you could also then study. Or you could then, having your activity, like conscious activity while you sleep, you could do a lot more than you could use that sleep to learn much more productive functions and hopefully even faster when you sleep than when you're awake.
Do you mean like a dream control program?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of these stories where you actually, for example, you play video game while sleeping. That'd be amazing. I'd be 100% for it. But there's actual worldwide application that then means that people will use it for all kind of things. You want to go visit Paris or something, go for it. Go take a well, I say Paris, I'm next to it, but you want to go visit Egypt, then for me, sleep, go to it. You want to battle, like, I don't know, like Tyranids or something, you want to be in 40K universe, go. You could. Basically Ready Player One allows you to do everything from taking vacation to working to talking to your friend, having fun, playing, doing epic things you would never be able to do in the real world, and actually owning these assets. So your time spent there does have value, which is what we're going for at Seascape. Like you playing should earn you something, should gain you something rather than just cost you and then always be at a possible prey to these publishing companies who don't really care about you.
Yeah. What do you think about NFTs as like education credits and like certification? Like if you learn a Microsoft something in your dreams, that could be an NFT that you could present as like a job certificate.
Dreams or out. NFTs could replace NFT could, again, I said, health insurance could be your passport, could be your diplomas. A big problem of what we have sometimes is when you try to recruit someone, they kind of like just tell you, this is my resume, and you have like 20 to 30 resumes whenever you have someone. So you kind of like, you sometimes do some background checks, but there's, except if it's like a really high value position, you generally just, it's during the interview, ask them question and you see if they understand, kind of thing. That part will always be necessary anyway, but like their CV is what they show you. It's sometimes pretty hard, except if you want to like either do very heavy background check yourself or have some agencies do it or HR, but generally it's just that with NFTs, you'll have provable, like ways to check, okay, this is your CV, you worked here, you did that, this is some of your diplomas, etc. That'd be a possibility. Now, whether or not this is good, people will disagree on that. But
what's the downside?
Yeah. Downside, well, some people are going to say like a privacy or something. Yeah, it's like this is visible to everyone then. It's kind of like your social security number. I'm not quite, well, can you do bad things with this? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
I mean,
but
it depends on like what you decide to do with that, right? Like your LinkedIn profile is already public, so who cares if you put your CV into an NFT? That, does that matter so much? But Social Security, that's a bit more intense over there.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just about privacy. Like, for example, sometimes I've seen some people being asked by the police to show the IDs. I always show it, but I've seen people being outraged by that. But it's just a question of principle, I guess, or like.
Yeah,
No.
it's your civilian rights. Big deal in America. Like, there's
For
a
you
lot of
guys,
people
yeah.
who-
For us in Europe, we just like, I mean, sure, yeah, go for it. Like I've lived, so I've been in US, I've been in Europe, and I've been in China. In China, they ask you for that like all the time. You're supposed to show it. If you don't, that's actually really bad for you. In Europe, they kind of like, it's more free about it, but never saw anyone kind of like refuse. You're just like, okay, sure. But then I've seen a lot of videos of being in US, and yeah, people just do not take kindly to being asked that kind of information.
Yeah, they want to stand up for their constitutional rights.
Hmm.
The
And that's
privacy
also due to like
is-
racial profiling and like a lot of other
Yeah,
issues
yeah,
that
no.
America deals with.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You can't change the color of your skin. And that's the thing that people don't understand about that in America is that there are a lot of very racist cops who are
So
just
they go and
looking
they
for
ask
someone
you for
driving while
IDs.
black. Which, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, but also I always thought about something else is how much of it is social profiling and how much of it is just description. I mean, you've all listened to cops. It's just like white male in his 40s with black t-shirts. That's the kind of description they have. That can fit maybe like me. I don't have a good t-shirt, but you know. I think there's a lot of social profiling, but I think there's also a lot of people just having description, and you're just like, yeah, that's what I have.
I've had a really bad experience. I've had a really bad experience in Austria.
Oh.
Very similar situation. I mean, I won't get into it, but basically thought I was somebody else who I wasn't, and it escalated like crazy. You know,
Yeah. I've also been, I mean, it was not me, it was my friend actually. I also had that, but then at the same time, they were just like, listen, I have the description. I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, they did take it too far, though, but I did understand kind of like both points. You know, you always need to take a look at both point of views of like why something is happening. It's not all black and white. Oh, actually, I hate this sentence, black and white. Also,
in the US, it is quite black and white. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, that's true. But there's many shades of colors. That's not just it.
look, so I'm actually kind of wondering, since you brought up Seascape, what are you guys at Seascape actually trying to create? So how would you define or describe Seascape to someone who knows nothing about NFTs, nothing about blockchain, very neutral?
Okay, so first we are, the general description is we are a blockchain gaming platform. What we're trying to do is give back to people. So regardless of who you are, where you're from, or any kind of information, we don't like the way the traditional gaming industry is going forward. We think that it's just funneling all money back to just like giant publishers, like, I don't know, are we allowed to say names or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Call them out.
Yeah, EAs or like, some of the big names over there doing a lot of things we don't really appreciate. We think there's a lack of creativity, very good studios like David, you and Blizzard, very good previous studios who get bought out and then basically destroyed from the insides out. Creativity is out the window. It's just all about money and getting that money back to shareholders who don't necessarily share the passion for gaming or don't really care about some IPs, games and all.
Mostly it's to funnel money back into Bobby Kotick's personal bank account so he can buy a yacht for his yacht.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't really, appreciate that. We want good creative games, and also right now it's always pay to win. I understand microtransactions from a company level, that makes sense, but the way it goes right now, it's all this money goes back to the big publishers who then give you an asset in game that they can take away back or nerf or change or do whatever they want with it. You pay, you don't really own anything. Yep. And all that money goes back to, the same kind of people. We believe in a more decentralized economy where you actually, you could earn and you could really own what you have. I'm going to give an example for the earning is that esports really has started before. If you wanted to earn from gaming, it was just, you have to be like, mostly a publisher, sometimes developers, so sometimes they also get screwed. I mean, you had to be a professional in the game making or publishing industry. Then esports and streaming started. So now, it's increasing. There's more and more ways to earn from gaming. But this is still very limited. Basically, you have before professionals and you have streamers and esports, but the majority of the people still cannot earn from what they're doing. It's them paying all the others. So it's not, they have no way of actually getting something if they're not a huge influencers, if they're not like a very good professional team or something.
So basically, like NFTs are supposed to solve pay to win, right? But just imagine the game ecosystem is like developed, and there's a lot of NFTs going out there, and someone buys NFTs, whatever item that gives them a massive boost, or armor that gives them a massive boost, so we can win the game better. That's
the traditional system. For us, we are trying to change things that it's not really about pay to win, it's more play to earn. You play, if you're good enough, you should be able to earn from what you're doing, rather than just having unilateral, like it's just going from there, it's just all going into one direction, like you're paying. There's never a chance for you to earn back. So one is play to earn, chance to earn back. The pay to win then system is generally done to really focus and incentivize people to be paying for these assets because the publishers want all the money. That's not the focus here. So then you would not have such strong advantages by paying. It's more about the games are going to be more balanced. It's going to be about more creativity and trying to get people in, trying to get people to profit. So we're trying to, bring back it, but we're not the only ones in the market. So we'll see how it goes. We want to do our best. We know our vision of things. We're not the only game developers. We are very big. We have a good name. A lot of people trust us, believe in the project. But there's many chains we're not on. There's many other projects doing other things. We'll see, what their vision is. But we know what we want blockchain gaming to be like.
Yeah, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there needs to be some central source that becomes the trusted point for all the NFTs, and that sort of becomes a conduit for everyone to go through, and that person or company approves of everything and sort of has a way to balance between games. Like it seems like it needs that sort of forced.
I would say yes and no. I wouldn't say company something. I would say a standard. There needs to be certain standards and practices set in point. I think centralization is kind of against what blockchain is trying to go for. We're also trying to go for more decentralized and player-run economy. There needs to be nodes, like right now blockchain also has nodes, there are certain points of gravitations. But while we are hoping to be as successful as Steam, and we're obviously going to gun for ourselves and trying to be as big as possible, we're not looking at others as competitors we need to crush and absorb. It's all about forwarding this thing we believe in, like more creative development, play to earn economies, and the blockchain industry with the ownership and so on. I would say rather than just like a central authority, it should be about standards. So it could be, association, collaborations, a certain way of looking at things. Also, so there would probably be, central major figures, but we hope to have, more than just one. For example, I'm going to take a look at DEXs. I'm going to go for which chain do you prefer? ETH, BSC?
We're on ETH. So I guess we prefer that.
You're on ETH? Okay, if you want ETH. We are mostly on BSC, but yeah, ETH is a bit more particular. But you have big names. You have, I'm going to say, Uni and Sushi. They're not the only DEXs out there. There's other projects trying to be, and I'm sure that once we have ETH 2.0 or some things on Polka pretty soon, but there's going to be just more. And only having one DEX makes no sense, because you would have basically you'd have one decentralized exchange. It's kind of we have to centralize all into one decentralized exchange. So I believe there's going to be several DEXs, and all of them could have, the advantages, some disadvantages, the uniqueness. Also, just having several, for example, there are also protocols to put them all together. Like we all know 1inch, who's trying to basically, put them all under one. So there are protocols, there are ways to make standards and associate them together, but having diverse indexes does offer certain, there's some advantages to that. For example, if one gets hacked or gets a problem, you have all the other ones to go back up on it.
Exactly.
It's the same principle with the blockchain. If you had all the nodes being controlled by one person, is that person very trustworthy? Sure, but with democracy, you always have problems. While with royalty or any centralized system, you have a potential for no problem. But you also have a much bigger potential for ultimate screw-ups, Yeah. So I'd rather go for a system that has good, redundancies and protections, even if there's sometimes, for example, if we all know the problems of ETH. So sure, there's, it's slow, very cumbersome, and costs a lot. Welcome to democracy. Same for ETH, but it does, have advantages, and we can build on it, we can change it, upgrade it. Like, there's a lot of things to do with it.
Yeah, I was actually thinking,
Go ahead.
about what sort of game companies might crop up around NFTs. Tell me how this sounds to you. So I think one of the bigger issues of NFTs is, we have our game's a card game. I've created standards for like what a good, medium, and high tier card would be. And then I have to, any NFTs that we want to support, I have to like go through and like sort of design cards for all these things. What if that could be something like where I put out like, here's what you should do for my game, and then other companies who want their NFTs to work in our game can use that as a guideline.
That's what we do. That's basically
okay.
what we do. So Seascape is about building the tools, and so obviously we could create new tools. If some companies say, okay, this is not working for me, something, but our idea is trying to bring tools for people and an entire ecosystem. With like we're making a lot of things. Probably, when is this coming out? No, the podcast.
Oh, I don't know.
In the next
end of this one? Is this one next? Or
sometime soon. Sometime soon.
There's something coming in the next 2 days, so I can't announce it before. I can announce it after.
It's not the next 2 days.
Not the next 2 days. Okay, we're gonna have DEXs. We're gonna have NFT marketplaces. We all know, everyone know that is the ideal launchpad. We're gonna have an entire ecosystem, basically. I mean, the DEX is mostly for us, but yeah, right now. There is a lot of things we're building, but we're also mostly building the tools for developers who don't necessarily have the time or the knowledge or the patience or just a lot of things to do the blockchain parts. So you come in, this is the system, this is you're going to have SDKs, going to be well documented. You can choose a blockchain, you can change, you can choose a smart contract that you want. And this is the way they built. Like I said, David, like, okay, here, this is what you need to adhere to be able to use them. That doesn't mean that there's only this tool set. It's a tool set that we're going to be constantly expanding, but we do believe that's the easiest way to, do some implementation. That's, what Android or a lot of other systems have. It's like, hey, this is an API. This is the things kind of like the tool set you have right now. And then it's up to the company, to the platform ourselves to keep on expanding it so that people, keep coming with new ideas, new concepts, and just increase the possibilities for them. But yeah, I do believe it's best because otherwise, if you do it by yourself, there's a limit to how much you can do. You're the best working in the world. You're Superman, sure, but even Superman is one. There's a limit. There's like a action per limit. But then if you just have a system that everyone can use, everyone in the world can come and do it. There's still a limit, but I'm going to say much higher than what Superman can do.
Well, it's like I was thinking it's sort of as developer tools that anyone can use. So like one of the things that's everyone loved about Warcraft was that in Warcraft 3, we released the same tools that we used to make the campaign missions to the public. And so anyone could make their own maps, and that's where freaking MOBAs came from.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of stuff that I'm excited about, is like when we release those kind of tools to everybody and seeing what comes back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for Warcraft 3 and then others, for me, I said before, Bethesda with, Elder Scrolls and Fallout and super excited. I see all the modding community, etc. But then also it goes back to how then those were used by the company. They gave the tools, they saw the mod community being huge and doing a lot of things. Decision, let's micromanage, let's do microtransaction where we get most of the money. That's
what Activision did. Yeah, they really screwed with that. That was disappointing.
So since you mentioned Steam and you're mentioning all these big developers, how is Seascape going to be any different? Is there going to be no fees to get on the platform? Is it going to be
No, so we still need to make money. There's still going to be fees, but we don't want to do unilateral, profiting for us or for the publisher or something. We want to have a decentralized economy. That does not mean that we're not going to be making any money. Otherwise, there's nobody to, who can work. We also need salaries. There's a lot of costs to what we're doing, to expanding. But right now, it's very unbalanced and it's geared towards just a publisher making a killing, or a reason why DEXs are coming compared to sexes is because the sexes is making so much money. It's just unnatural. DEXs basically is a community also profiting from this potential market. That's the whole DeFi concept, is like giving back potential earnings to the people. Same for gaming, you give back potential earnings to the people by participating into the IDOs, by being able to yourself maybe at one point, I'm really excited by cross promotion or cross usability of NFTs between different games. So you could have like the company, like a big project coming up, making a huge game. Let's say they do Elder Scrolls, I love Elder Scrolls. So they do Elder Scrolls over the blockchain, everything is NFTs, and then people want to do like a side, the people do mods. For example, we had, what's the name again, Fallout New Vegas, they had like a very big mod coming up. I'm not going to talk about New Frontier because that mod was weird, but they had other London mod or something. Frontier looked good at first, but after was weird. They had like basically huge entire new maps and characters. It's basically a new game made using the tools. This could actually then now be a game using cross promotion of NFTs, and the people who made this mod could then be rewarded. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of possibilities for them to be rewarded for that. People would come, so they would get some of maybe the fees from the blockchain. Maybe there would be, some burning or staking mechanics where there's going to be some fees, and these fees will be then redistributed to the communities, but also to the modders, maybe part to the original game developers, so that they would still profit, but not as, imbalanced as it is right now. Well, I'm going to go back to the Creation Club, but I mean, they get the lion's share. And also it's very weird because you have a bunch of free mods, and why do you need to pay for some of those? So it was about giving back potential earnings to everyone, players, indie developers, modders, publishers, and platforms. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be paid as platform and publishers. That is a normal business model. Otherwise, this thing would not exist. But yes, very imbalanced, and the amount of support that the platform do is very minimal now. Like, how much do you think Steam puts out for you to be putting? I'm not gonna say numbers.
Like, what's the last game?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on Discord on Steam, and they don't have that many people. The marketing, I mean, basically it's the games that do the marketing, like the self-marketing. Say, oh, by the way, we're on Steam. Steam has a platform. I'm sure it's well developed, but is it worth the amount that they ask to you? Basically,
what do they ask exactly? Do we know the numbers?
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure if I could say, but yeah, that's 30%. Basically, it's the same for the Google Play and the App Store. They ask 30% just to be on the platform. It's because of the demand, it's because of the tool sets and so on. But on Steam, honestly, it's not even that necessary. We had to talk about, Steam is the only one. Origin is dead.
Origin is dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
EA.
No, it's just Steam is just about being the only one. They basically, that's the only thing they do, is because they are the one platform, and then they just ask 30%. But if they could actually be a competitor. David, from this discussion, you can take away that you can do your own platform. You ask 20%. You do very good marketing. All the people. You make another platform that gives back to the developer and the community, but without the blockchain, and make it kidding.
Yeah, sure. Designer Dave, Dev Corner. Come to my platform. I will advertise for you.
Goes rogue, leaves blockchain space.
Yeah, but that leaves the blockchain now. But that's basically also what we're trying to do is blockchain, add blockchain elements, because we do believe in blockchain gaming, be a platform if you want, like Steam, but offer much more support, give them tools for development. Because again, Steam doesn't do anything. It's like basically you go and you use Unity on Unreal, then come on Steam. We would actually provide you tools. We're not going to provide you Unity because that's a whole different thing, but we're going to provide you the blockchain tools for you to build your games, then being able to release. And also we're going to be cross-chain, so we're going to help you with all the cross-chain organization across devices. We want to really try to foster creative gaming development. So any type of game that you want, you could add, NFTs, you could add blockchain elements, DeFi, you could add a bunch of things to it. On the devices that you want, on the best chain for this game, and you could earn from it. The developers, the modders, everyone could, it's going to be on a project per project basis. Also, obviously, we don't want to be the overlord saying like this is how you do things. We want to provide the tools. How exactly people would be rewarded would be depending on the projects, but we really want to help foster this whole idea.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool, man. That's like super, super exciting stuff.
We are super excited about it. We're growing. We're not as exciting as some of the other blockchain gaming we see, but that's because they're games. We're a platform. We do the technical things actually. Like all our games right now, like proof of concept, testing, if it works or not, what to do. It's all coming to fruition in the next few months. We're gonna have the ecosystem being ready and start pumping a lot more projects. We already have signed a bunch. So it's exciting for us. But yeah, people keep asking us like, why are you not like Axie Infinity? Well, Axie developed in 3 to 4 years. We've been up for 6 months, and they're a game, we're a platform. So once we're ready, we're gonna have thousands.
I think for like people from the outside, they don't really notice because like let's talk about NFTs. Like they came up so fast that nobody realized they were gone for. I mean, they were actually like available for a few years, and this is just the hype was coming up now.
Back end versus front end. I always feel bad for the back end developer because the back end developer can do like an amazing job and like everything is perfectly smooth. And the thing is, you don't notice because they did their job so well. Whereas the front end guy like is doing all the art stuff and all the stuff you actually touch and interact with, and so you're going to notice no matter what.
Yeah, it's how I feel also about movies. The screenwriters never get the recognition they deserve, I think.
I know. What the
fuck? No, it's like, there's all this like back end thing that you couldn't do anything without it. And you could never do anything without this kind of people. And the recognition is always, skewed towards certain people. Right now it's my handsome face. No, I'm kidding. But it's always marketing. It's always, all the BDs or figureheads or something. It's like a lot of people now say, you mentioned Alan before. So Alan is, has a lot of ideas and do a lot of things, but a lot of people say like, he's not the one doing these things. And yeah, that's true. He could never do anything without other people, behind him. Doesn't mean though he doesn't have good ideas and, we need someone like that. It could have been, we have already hundreds of billionaires. They're not Alan. So, there's a difference. He does provide something. But yes, I agree that without all the people, behind him, that would just what he's doing would not be possible.
Yeah. Or back end guys.
Yeah.